In this video, I am going to talk about what my plan is moving forward to tackle this mountain of debt that I have. Also, what I've realized so far in the first few weeks of this journey, as well as answering some of the most common questions or even comments that I've seen so far on my last few videos. So, as someone that's super self conscious and I've always been afraid of judgment, somehow I still decided to come out here and share my debt payoff journey and my story as transparently and vulnerably as I have. Now I'm starting to question why. But my motivation to doing that is because I wanted to have it for myself to be able to look back on it every time I wanted to give up. I also wanted to document this so that my kids would have an idea of how hard it is to overcome some of these financial struggles and hope that they don't make the same mistakes. They are very involved in this process, and I'm only going to involve them more as I go along. I honestly didn't expect anybody to even watch this, nor did I expect anybody to really relate to me. I thank everyone for the motivation, the encouraging comments. I even am grateful for the constructive feedback I've gotten so far, even though it can be really tough to hear. Those comments are the ones that have gotten me to see things a little bit differently to be able to make changes that I need to make. In my last video, I shared my budget. Well, it really was just a list of everything I was paying for, cosplaying as a budget. But I knew starting this journey that I was going to give up a lot. I started with that budget and laying out everything I was paying money on so that I can start making cuts. I wasn't expecting that to be my budget and manage to pay off debt at the same time. Up until now, my solution was always just to make more money and make sure I had enough money in my account. I never really focused on what I needed to pay. I was in survival mode, and I spent the last year recovering from a divorce that left me super insecure and very angry with the fact that I had to give up everything that I was used to because of something that I did not do. It's taken me a long time to get to where I'm at now, and I know that I am a million steps behind, and I understand it's going to take me a lot of work to get where I need to be, especially at my age. However, I know I'm not doing this alone. I know I'm not the only person doing this, and I almost stayed in a horrible marriage because I was afraid of this journey. I was afraid of having to tackle this financial journey on my own. I just wanted to put that out there. It is not lost on me that I have to make some sacrifices. And I've already started doing that. I've already started making some cuts. And I cannot wait to share at the end of the month the progress that I've made, plus what I plan to do for November and December and beyond. All right, I'm going to try and not ramble because apparently I ramble too much. I am a talker, and I apologize in advance. If you don't like people who talk a lot, then maybe I am not your person, but I will try and get straight to the point. So after I put together that monthly budget, I have decided that looking at everything at a month at a glance is a little too broad for me. I have decided to do the paycheck to paycheck method by the Budget Mom. I've been binge watching her videos to get familiar with what the process is. And when I get paid on the 22nd, I will do my first paycheck budget. I have also decided that I'm going to do the paycheck budget on paper. I will probably have some form of electronic copy, like the spreadsheet that I'm using. I'll probably update that once a month, or maybe I'll update it as I go with the transactions. But I feel like planning out my paycheck, I need to do on paper so that I can see it in front of me every day and know what the plan is for my finances. It may be a little bit of an overkill, but I think for at least the first 6 months, that's kind of what I need in order to stay on track. I want to know what I'm doing that day, but also what I'm doing a few weeks in advance so that I always know that my money is already spoken for. I have realized that I need to do a whole mindset shift on the way that I view money, the way that I view my expenses. One person that I've been watching a lot is Ramit Sethi, and it's been very eye-opening for me. I've been watching his videos with the couples finances, and even though they're couples, I can relate to a lot of the situation that these people are in, and the advice that I hear being given to them has really been helpful to me. So one thing I am also going to do is to try and start every morning while I'm on the train to work, watching at least one of those videos and getting myself in that mindset and excited to save and pay off bills. As I was editing my last video, one thing that I did realize was I was making a lot of excuses, or I wouldn't even say excuses. I was trying to justify not giving up things that I am used to doing. It's hard. It's hard to change. And I am sure many of you have had to make hard decisions also. So I get it. I know that it can be done. I'm also not someone that came from privilege. I grew up with very little. I was a single teen mom. I struggled and I've been in survival mode since I was 18. I don't think I've ever really learned how to get out of survival mode. So when I was able to come up for air in my last marriage, when I had someone that was making more than me, able to split expenses, at that time I should have taken some time to educate myself and to learn how to handle finances, and I didn't, and that was my mistake. But I'm doing it now and are at 47 to start learning how to do something new. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it, and it doesn't mean I'm not willing to do the hard things and to make the cuts. There are some things that I may cut for a while and then realize, hey, I really need this, and go back to it, but cut something else out in its place. I'm working on that. But I'm not attached to any of those things. They're just things that I would prefer not to give up because I don't think it's fair. I don't know if that makes sense. But for now, what we are going to do is address some of the common questions and comments that I've seen, because I think some of it's relevant and important. If it's not, I won't address it. Like I said, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. So if there's a question that you have and it applies to this, I'll answer it in another video, or I try to answer some of the questions in the comments themselves, but I know not everybody reads that. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the questions that I have seen repeatedly. One of the questions is about my kids helping to pay. I am fully aware that now that they are of adult age, they need to be responsible. I'm excited to show them this journey and also get them to contribute. My son does not work full time. He just graduated high school. He's 18 years old. He works part-time and he is going to be starting trade school. No excuse, he's still going to have to contribute. But I need the expectations to be realistic as well. My daughter, who's 23, who's here from college, she has her bachelor's degree, has a hard time finding a full-time salary job. She's currently working as an intern on minimum wage. I also have to have the expectations of her be realistic as well. So one question that I've seen a lot is, have I thought about selling my house? And yes, I have thought about selling my house. I'm just not quite ready to do that yet. I think what keeps me from selling my house right now is the fact that my two kids are still living here, and I'm just kind of waiting for them to get on their own. And I do think my mortgage is going to go down. Plus the rent in Chicago, in the Chicago area, is about as expensive as what my mortgage is for an apartment for the three of us. One thing that I did see from Ramit in one of his videos is how even though the mortgage might be less than the rent, the cost of maintenance and things like that on my house, and even my HOA fee, maybe renting would make more sense. So I would love to rent when I can rent like a 1-bedroom apartment. I also don't have a big house. I don't live in a luxurious house. I actually live in a 2-bedroom house. My daughter does not have her own room. So if that tells you anything, I'm not living this lavish lifestyle that, it seems like I might be, but I'm really not. I can't really downgrade my house either. If I sold my house, I would take the profit from my house and pay off some of my debt, get an apartment, and start there. A home equity line is a possibility. I don't want to commit to a home equity loan if I am going to sell my house. So I really want to make sure that if I do the home equity route, that I'm going to keep the house. Otherwise, I would rather just sell the house. The other question that I get a lot is bankruptcy. Like, why don't I just claim bankruptcy? The honest to God truth is I don't know much about it. I don't know much about it. I am deathly afraid of what that would do to my credit because I don't have bad credit now. It's not amazing because obviously I owe a lot of money, but it's not bad because I haven't been late on any of my payments, and my cards aren't maxed. Believe it or not, they're not maxed. So I don't want to ruin my credit just because I owe a lot of money. I don't know what that would look like trying to get an apartment, because I would lose my house because I have too much equity in my house right now to be able to keep my house. From what I've read, I don't know. I have not talked to a bankruptcy lawyer. Every person that I've talked to try and get suggestions, they're just very negative about the whole bankruptcy thing. So I just kind of shied away from it until I learn more about it. I've gotten a lot of suggestions on a payoff method, and what I'm going to start with is the snowball method, because I do believe that getting those small wins is what's going to help me with some momentum and to stay motivated. So even though in the long run, if I stick with that method, I'm probably going to be paying more in interest. I think that's where I want to start. After a few months, I may reevaluate that, but I'm going to start with the snowball method. I've already addressed cutting expenses. I've got a ton of comments and suggestions on how to cut expenses. I have decided on where I'm going to start with that. And like I said in the beginning, I've already started cutting some out. I will address those in my recap at the end of the month. Selling personal items is another thing that I've gotten a lot of feedback on. And I've started selling stuff and I have more that I'm going to be selling. I may do a video on like everything that I'm selling and kind of track that so that I can see how much I earn and put that straight towards one of the debts. And the last question is about my side hustles and if they're worth it. So I'm going to address both of them. With the grocery delivery, the most common question is, with budgeting $500 a month in gas, is it worth it? I have $500 a week on the budget as income from grocery delivery. I have hit over 500 consecutively for many weeks now. So I know 500 is pretty much the minimum that I will make a week. The gas for my car on the budget is not just from grocery delivery. It's higher because of grocery delivery, but that's not the only thing that I use my car for. And yes, even though I take the train to work, I still do a lot of driving for personal errands, to visit my mom, to visit my daughter, who both don't live close to me, things like that. So although, yes, I use a lot of gas for grocery delivery, I'm making about $21 to $25 an hour on average, which is more than I would make at a part-time job. I do know I have to factor in wear and tear on my car and all of that, but I still think that bringing in $2,000 to $3,000 a month from my side hustle is not something that I can just give up right now, because where is that extra income going to come from? And I don't think I have $3,000 a month worth of expenses that I can cut right now. With Poshmark, that one is a little more iffy. Before my marriage ended, I was doing Poshmark and I was making about $3,000 a month in profit. I lost my motivation and the consistency that I was putting into that business. And if anyone else is resellers here, you know that you have to be consistent in order to see those sales on a regular basis. And I was at that time. And that's when I started all the subscriptions. That's when I started automating a lot of the stuff, because I didn't have the time to keep up with the listing. When I lost the motivation to run that business, my profit dropped, my sales dropped. Right now, in the beginning of the year, they were around 1,000 and they've been slowly declining since then. I do want to focus more on it because I feel like there's more opportunity there than with grocery delivery. Obviously, there's no wear and tear on my car doing that. I started the grocery delivery to supplement until I got my Poshmark store back up to where it needed to be. I'm just not there yet. So in the meantime, I will reduce a lot of those subscriptions to save money until I'm back at, a 2,000 or more threshold in profit before I add those subscriptions back in. I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Hopefully I didn't lose you, but I just wanted to address that because I can't answer all the questions in the comments, but I don't want to ignore anyone either. But if you have any questions that you want me to answer, feel free to leave a comment below and I will make sure to answer them. So with that being said, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was clear. In the next video, I'm going to go over my first paycheck budget, and I will be doing that when I get paid next week. Make sure you subscribe so I can share my updates with you. If you don't have a question, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And with that, I will see you in the next one.